This is the top 5 oldest professional boxers. A boxer hits their physical prime between the ages of 28 and 35. On average, most professional boxers retire at around age 37 with an average career span of 16 years. In this video, we're looking at 5 ancient warriors who are anything but average. Some are well-known fighters and some are not so well-known. So without further ado, let's get into it. At number 5 on the list is Bernard Hopkins. He fought his last fight at 51 years old. He was active from 1988 to 2016, a total of 28 years. In 2016, at 51 years old, Hopkins had his last fight against Joe Smith Jr., a 26-year-old, 25 years his junior. Hopkins loses the fight, but still looks decent for a 51-year-old fighting at that level. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Getting knocked out of the ring is not a fitting end to his career, but respect to Bernard Hopkins as he is one of the most successful fighters of all time. The 4th oldest pro of all time is Bozella at 52 years old. Bozella has an interesting story. He was wrongfully imprisoned for murder and served 26 years in prison before his sentence was overturned in 2009. While inside, he became the prison boxing champion, and after he was released, used his knowledge to help local kids in boxing gyms in New York, teaching them against gang violence. Bozella received a reward for his work, and afterwards in an interview with ESPN, he said he dreamt of having a professional fight one day. That dream came true, with Bernard Hopkins helping out. Bozella fought on the undercard of a Hopkins fight in 2011 at the age of 52. Bozella beat his opponent, 21 years his junior, by unanimous decision. Let's have a look at some of the highlights.
Let's go. Bozella in the black trunks with green trim, 52 years old. Spent 26 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit.
Here you see Bozella get rid with a looping right hand, mainly because he keeps his head up and he doesn't move his head too much.
Second of what Bozella pulled off.
Coming in at number 3 is Larry Holmes, who fought professionally at 52 years old. Holmes is a legendary heavyweight whose career spanned from 1973 to 2002. He has had many great fights, including victories over Ken Norton, Ernie Shavers and Muhammad Ali. He nearly beat the 49-0 record of Rocky Marciano, but lost his 49th fight in 1985. Holmes originally retired in the 80s, but made multiple comebacks with his last fight against Butterbean in 2002 at the age of 52. Even at that age, he still hasn't lost his touch. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
Larry Holmes dancing around. Holmes said to us earlier, he thinks this is a 3-round fight.
Hold up, tie up.
The right hand overhand
against an unprotected eye.
Now way past the territory. It's not bad for a 52-year-old. Could have that statistic. May I add one? Oh, that's the oh my. Well, it didn't hurt, but
it's hit there.
You know what?
In second place is Jack Johnson, who fought professionally at 60 years old. He lost his last professional fight to Walter Price by 7th round TKO. Johnson is a boxing legend, the first African-American heavyweight champion dominating his era. The Galveston Giant was active from 1898 to 1938, losing 7 of his last 9 fights when age was catching up with him. For the quick fact about Johnson, he was raised in Galveston, Texas, which was hit by the worst natural disaster in American history, a hurricane killing 6,000 people and leaving 30,000 more people homeless. Johnson's home was destroyed, but luckily he was one of the few residents of Galveston who did not lose a family member. And the number 1 oldest professional boxer of all time, certified by the Guinness Book of World Records, is Steve Ward. He fought professionally at 60 years and 337 days old. The English cruiserweight was active from 1977 to 1987. Then he had 41 unlicensed fights between 1988 and 2002, before fighting professionally again from 2010 to 2017. He may not be the most recognisable name on the list, but Steve Ward is officially the oldest professional boxer of all time. His last fight was in 2017 against the German Andreas Sidian.
People were coming up and congratulating you, and you felt 10 foot on.
The proof of the adage, you're never too old.
Go on, Steve. Sal, do you know who the oldest world champion boxer is?
I think that would be the American Bernard Hopkins, who won the WBA crown in March last year at the age of 49.
Behave yourself, woman.